ActionVFX's introduction to ComfyUI for VFX is currently 20% off this Black Friday. What you're about to watch is one of the 15 modules that we have available in the complete 8-hour course. So if you find this helpful, interesting, or looking to integrate AI into your workflows, head on over to actionvfx.com where you can get the entire course for 20% off. Let's get started.
Okay, welcome everybody to Inpainting. For this, we're going to be using the Flux model, and you're going to need a little bit of firepower for this, especially as we build towards doing this in motion. So I'm jumping into Run Comfy here, and I recommend you use the extra large partition. It's a little bit of a higher charge, so it's about like $2 for an hour to do this, but we need all the VRAM that we can possibly get. So this is looking around 16 gigabytes to even 32 gigabytes when we do it in motion. So we're going to prep for that, and I'm going to be taking you through this workflow. It's really exciting, and we're going to be using some new nodes here. And it's going to be a little bit more intermediate. We're going to kind of tiptoe into the intermediate part of Comfy, even though this is an intro, because this is just a much more advanced, it's more complex. So let's go ahead and show you what we're doing here. So let's go ahead and load it right in here. We're going to get rid of these source and width things, because I don't want to spoil anything for you. All right. So what we're going to be doing here is I'm loading in the middle part of this shot that we have here. So it's going to be the soldier is right there, and his helper who just pulled him off the street is running off. So what we're going to be doing here is, let's see if I can pause it exactly when I need to, because I want to focus on the first frame. There you go. So what we're going to be doing is removing both of these actors and even this victim in the background there. And we're going to be using both. We're going to be using the mask editor and, of course, like I was saying, Flux. And we're going to be using some really interesting new nodes that are going to pass along some values in order for us to make our comp a little bit. I'm going to call it a comp. I'm a compositor. Make our workflow a little bit cleaner. And both of those nodes are the get node and the set node. And these are really neat. So if you're thinking, if you're coming from a programmatic background, these are ways of passing information into buckets. So they're like these super variables, and you can beam them around your comp without the messy wires going all over the place. So we can ingest some information, give that information a name, and then we in the set node, and then in the get node, we're going to put that same name, and now we can pass that information off to a different part of the workflow. So it's really neat. So inside here, you're going to be seeing we have our load video. This is the video helper suite. So double click, load video. We're either doing an upload or a path. Since I am in Run Comfy right now, I'm just going ahead and upload this. And then I'm always using the video info tool, because I want to make this a pretty universal workflow for you, regardless of your resolution of the source image. So what this node allows us to do is now we can pass the width and the height information right into this resize image over here. And if you don't want to use this, we don't even have to. We can use another one that's pretty neat, is the upscale image, which again really should just be called resize. So you can either use the resize image, which is more of a it's depreciated, but I like it, or you can use a more modern upscale. Same exact method applies. You're just grabbing the source width, put it in there, source height, put it in there, and then you're outputting your image. But this allows us, what's nice about this is you can also pass through one bucket, basically, the width and the height, and then bring width and the height back out. And we'll talk about those nodes in just a second, you just saw. But we're going to pass out this image, and now we're using our first set node. So you'll get that by going set node. It's part of the KJ nodes package. Really great library for ComfyUI. And you're going to plug that in and literally just double click, type, and give it a name. So this is initial video. We're also going to grab the number of frames because we're going to be limiting here. So our frame load cap is 48 frames. So we're doing about 2 seconds. So we're going to use this later on for when we do video generation. And then of course we're grabbing, we're putting in our set width and height so we can pass that along down the tree as well. I always like to then grab a new get. Again, you'll get node right there and just plug it in right here. It's a little way to just kind of like make sure that the right value is getting passed along because that's very important. We are also going to be using a string constant multi-line to set a prompt that we're going to use throughout our comp. So this is going to be another get node, set node. I got to get these in order. A set node, and this is going to be our prompt. So empty city street. Let's go ahead and just say car. We're gonna try to keep it as simple as possible. We're gonna pass that along into our positive prompt. This then gets pushed over here. We now have our get node, which we're then grabbing the initial video. Just like that. And this is another video helper suite that I like a lot. Select images. So here we can just set the index to 0. Now we know we're always going to grab the first frame. So let's go ahead and put a note right there. This grabs the first frame. Very good. All right. So then this gives us a preview image. And what we're going to do here now is we're going to right click on this and you're going to say send to workflow and then current workflow. And you're going to see an update requested. Node definitions have been reconnected. And you're going to see now we have our send to workflow is automatically selected right here. And we now have our load image. And this is where you're going to, let's make another note. Draw your masks. So what you want to leave, what you want to remove from this image. So what we're going to do here is zoom in here on the load image, right click, and you're going to click Open Mask Editor. Now, because this is a darker image, what I recommend you do is the mask layer, we're going to change this to negative. Makes it a little bit easier to make sure we're covering everything we want to cover. And then you have your thickness, which is just the size of your brush. So I see I'm getting bigger and bigger. We can then also soften it or harden it. And we can also make it more or less opaque. So it just allows you to kind of feather things off right in the mask. But we're only going to be concerned with image number 1. So we're going to draw our mask. I'm just clicking and drawing around. And a good rule of thumb here is try not to make it look too much like the thing you're trying to remove. You want to give the model a little bit of an abstract shape so that it doesn't get too focused on like this is the shape of a person or just one of those little things about this model that hopefully will help you guys. So I'm just going to cover this up. I'm trying to not be too tight, but also not too loose because I only want to remove the parts of the image that I want to remove. And I want to leave enough of the original image to allow the model to have context in order to fill in what we want to have the background be. So, and here we have a background actor too. So I'm going to select, again, I don't want to remove this right here. I just want to kind of remove this area. And then we're going to click save. There you go. Now that's our mask. So this will then get passed into, you can not only obviously like we're passing not just data here, but also image data. We're going to set this to initial image. So we had our initial video, and now we're going to have our initial image set there, as well as our initial image mask that we just created here. We're just grabbing the image handle and then the mask handle, passing that there. I'm also taking the chance here to, in order to do this, you can't load this through a normal checkpoint. You have to process the different elements that are normally inside of a checkpoint a little bit differently. So we're going to break it apart. And here you're going to see we're going to load in our dual clips. We can just pass those right into here because I'm not going to use these any other place. But I am going to load in the diffusion model. We pass it through this model called differential diffusion. It's just a way of processing the model in a way that Flux Fill will require it down the road. And then we're using another set node to pass this diffusion model to another part of the comp, another part of the workflow. So this is now freeing us from having too much spaghetti all over the place. We can just kind of process this, and this value is going to get beamed to another part of the workflow. I'm doing the same thing for my Flux VAE. I'm setting the VAE right here. And you can see I also have a positive prompt string here for the get. We can plug that into our string, but I'm going to do this part manually just because we can just focus right here. And I can show you different ways. So, and then we also have our dual clip loader. So clip name 1, we're going to load right here, and clip name 2, we're using the T5 XXL FP16. This is a good Flux base clip model that is not too intensive, but also has it's not low quality either. And then we're setting our clip type to Flux. So these have already been set to when you upload this workflow, which you'll do by doing a workflow open, and then you're going to navigate to this right here, the 9 Inpainting clean plates workflow there. So all of these models have already been set to the normal run comfy environment, so you shouldn't have to mess with those. But it's really just the names that matter, so make sure that those names match. We're then going to be passing it off to our positive prompt. So again, our positive prompt over here was empty city street car, and we are passing with the set positive prompt. I'm just going to do this manually here without the get node here, and just put that right in the positive prompt. Again, Flux does not require negative prompts, so we just have an empty negative here. If we right click and we click expand, you see nothing to see. So we're just keeping that nice and collapsed. We're setting our Flux guidance to the standard 30, like we've used for previous text to image workflows. And then up here, we are now grabbing these same values that were over here, right? And we're bringing them over here. Just a nice way to organize things. We can bring these down if this is a little bit easier to see. There you go. And we're plugging it into the Inpaint model conditioning node. This is different than our previous Flux from the beginning of the course. We're going to be inserting this Inpaint conditioning model to get it ready for inpainting, to get it to understand what to actually do with this mask image over here. So we're plugging in our Flux VAE into the VAE. We're plugging in our initial image into the pixels pass right there, and then our initial image mask right there. We're then loading the diffusion model that we had before, right over here. Diffusion model gets beamed over here, not too far away from where it started, but I just really want to show you this sort of workflow, because this is a really nice way to just kind of pass information around without having so much spaghetti all over the place. And it kind of reminds me of like Nuke postage stamps. Love them or hate them, they do serve a purpose. So it's a really cool way to move information around your workflow. So again, it's the get and set nodes. We're going to plug that into our normal case sampler. So the model with positive, negative prompt, and then our base latent image, which for our latent image, it gets passed out. It processes it through the pixels and then produces the latent image using the Inpaint model conditioning node. And we're going to plug it into there. we'll have a fixed seed right here. This number doesn't really matter, but if you get a generation that you don't like, go ahead and just click go, a little bit further. And CFG of 1, steps at 20 is fine. We'll use the Euler sampler name here. We might try a few different ones, see if we get better or worse results. And then, of course, we're grabbing our Flux VAE and passing it through to our VAE decode with our sampler. We're grabbing that initial image one more time over here so we can do a before and after. And then we're also setting our inpainted frame. We're going to pass that final image out to this variable for use later. So let's go ahead and just see what this does. So let's go ahead and hit run. And we're going to be loading in our video frame, resized, passes it through our first frame. We've already processed our first frame. It's going to look for our positive. Again, this is very fast. And then our K-sampler is going to be doing the majority of the heavy lifting here. This is going to take a second. We're already, there we go. We're starting to go. All right, we're ready for a VAE decode. And what do we got? All right, so now if we do a wipe, you can see we have pretty nicely removed the actors from the background. And I like this workflow a lot because it's unlike the SDXL, it does a really good job of not having any color bleed coming through. Sometimes when you remove an image, if it's like a bright green something, you'll see a little bit of a green bleed for this underpainting that it does. But with this model, we don't have that same issue. Just kind of does a good job. It did a weird thing over here with the car that I don't love. So we're going to try to just change our seed once and hit go again. We're going to see if we get a better result. But as you can see, this is a very fast process. All right. And worse. That's way worse. And now I guess earlier in the frame, you could, in the shot, if you remember, you could actually see that the car was in front of this barricade. So I don't love that. Let's go ahead and try a different seed and let's see if we get anything better. Honestly, I'm just going to kind of keep doing this because it should be pretty quick. Anything better? Let's see. Oh, much better. There you go. All right, that looks a lot more. Yeah, that looks a lot better. Okay, very cool. So now we have removed our actors from the background. This is a really cool workflow that I really like. As you can see, I didn't have to modify much. And this is a very simple prompt. Empty city street, a car. That's all it is. And let's go ahead and let's see if I can just get node. Let's clean this up a little bit. And I'll show you how to plug this in. So instead of, I'm going to plug that right in. It's going to gray this out. And I'm going to say what I want to pass into there. And of course, that is my positive prompt. So now we can just pass that once. And we only have to set it down here once. So let's make sure we're still fixed. And let's hit go one more time. Make sure it's all good. So there is a bug sometimes with these get nodes. You'll see this is grayed out right here. If I change this prompt, sometimes the value doesn't update in here. So it makes me kind of not trust it. So I just recommend just always double checking. But it looks like it still did a good job. Very cool. So this is a very quick little workflow. And one other thing that I want to show you that we're going to build upon is this fast groups bypasser from RG3. I really like this node. This is really cool. So it's going to put this little group right here. And what this allows you to do is when you group sections, so you see like I've grouped the video load section, the first frame section, and then the still frame in Paint. Maybe I only want to just pick my frame here. I don't want to process the whole thing. Well, before you'd have to like zoom out, select, grab, Control B for bypass, right? Well, what's really neat about this fast group bypasser right here is it does it for you. So let's go ahead and here, I don't want to generate my video. You just click that no. Automatically anything grouped inside here is disabled. Same thing for select first frame and for the full still frame in Paint. Now, the cool thing is you can just click that little arrow, and it brings you right to that section. So the more complicated your workflow starts to get, it can be kind of hard to manage. So this allows you to just kind of quickly teleport yourself, just jump around and find the section that you're working on. So that is basically it in a nutshell. It's a really powerful workflow. Flux Fill is a really great model. You just have to kind of work with it a little bit differently by breaking it apart to condition it to do this specific type of workflow, but it's really powerful. And as you can see, it did a pretty darn good job. That's a really solid paint out that I would be happy to work with. So next up, we're going to be taking what we've learned here, and let's go ahead and preview the whole thing. Go back to here, resume preview, and we're actually going to see this in motion. So I'm going to remove this actor from a full clip using this exact same method, but we're going to be using WAN Vase in order to do that. So again, you're going to need some firepower here. So make sure that you're getting that 2XL machine. Again, it's more expensive. I wish it wasn't, but you really need as much VRAM as possible in order to do this more advanced workflow. But it's all based, really, this is the bulk. This is the hard stuff right here, is mastering the Flux Fill. So we're going to take this and expand, but again, play around with this. Change this out. Why don't you change the prompts around? Instead of an empty city street, maybe it's a busy city street, or you put some street lights behind, or you remove a different element. Here where we have this whole car right here. We can go inside here, again, open mask editor. And let's just go ahead and just remove that whole darn car, right? All it's going to take is a really quick mask on this example image right here. Click Save. We're going to then zoom out. We're going to change this to just an empty city street and hit Go. In just a few minutes, it processes all this stuff. It goes through the K-sampler. Like, it's really, really fast. I'm kind of blown away, especially on a on a 2XL. I guess that's what I'm paying for here. It gets passed through. Let's see how it did. And boom, car's gone. Whole thing is gone. And you can see it kind of made some guesses of what that city street looks like. So it's not hard to see what the use cases here are for visual effects. So we're going to expand upon that in the next section. All right, see you in a bit.
If you enjoyed watching that module, then do consider heading over to ActionVFX.com and buying the entire course 20% off during our Black Friday sale. You have until November 28th for this offer, and we really hope that you enjoy it.